Hi, devotees.
Devotees. It's half frozen for me too, so I'm like, I don't know where people are. I'm Natasha.
I'm Janie.
I'm Jill.
Yay, special
Special
guest! A few things before we start today's episode. This is an adult-rated podcast. We do say adult things and discuss adult-related topics, so keep that in mind when listening with little ears around. And we will be getting very much into the weeds today because we are doing a very special episode. Jill, what are we doing today?
We are doing Assistant to the Villain series. I don't know what the whole thing's called.
I'm pretty sure that's the name of the series. I think
okay.
it is Assistant to the Villain, yes.
Mhm.
Oh, my bad.
So we
look it up every time.
We literally have, because we split it up in a couple different ways, devotees. So each of us decided to take on a book because there are 3 books before Adversary to the Villain comes out. Natasha's going to put that on screen when that book comes out because it's pretty much like a week or so away at this point when this episode actually comes out. So we know that everyone needed a recap of this wonderful, funny series. So we split it up in 3 different ways. I'm taking book 1, Jill is taking book 2, and Natasha is rounding out the trilogy. About to be quadrilogy? What do you call that? It's just a series at that point. Just a series at that point.
Series.
And so that's the way that we've decided to split it up. So Hannah Nicole Mayer is the author of this series. And yeah, okay. So we should just jump right into it.
All right, guys. Now we're on to book 3. And that is Accomplice the Villain. I totally forgot the name all of a sudden. Accomplice the Villain, book 3. Open with a little prologue again. I think we've had prologues with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Evie's on her way to work. It's about a month after she's hired. So it's basically in the first one, an assistant to the villain. She runs into Tristan in the woods. And he's like, what are you doing here early? And she's like, I got your note to come to this meeting. And Tristan's like, there isn't a meeting. Fuck, no, I have to have a meeting. So they have a meeting. And he's like, I didn't send her a note, whatever. And as they're having this meeting, something falls from the ceiling and almost kills Evie. And Tristan saves her, obviously. So something's going on. Something is happening from the get-go. And so this is kind of like showing that. Kingsley, as we learned, is Prince Alexander Kingsley. Love him so much. He's having moments now where he's becoming more frog than human frog, whatever he is. He's having moments where he's forgetting who he is and he's becoming full frog. And that's not good. We want Kingsley back. Because I said Kingsley's my absolute favorite.
He's frogging out.
My quick notes, I was like, frog out. We do have a lot of episodes of frog out Kingsley throughout, so. And it gets longer as it happens, so it's really dangerous. And Tristan is trying really hard to stay away from Evie, because I said his magic's getting more erratic as it was happening at the end of 2. And he's like, this is crazy. I don't want it to hurt her. Nothing needs to happen. Benedict and his men come back and take the female Guvra, which has been at the castle, and she's pregnant. So it's like, shit, we need this youngling, because it's Fate's youngling. We need that for the prophecy. Benedict and Tristan's groups are both trying to find the 4th item in the prophecy. We need, when the tide turns, the heart of the true prince will save his fated love. That is the 4th thing they needed. So you have the Fate, they have the unmasked villain, all their directors, like different things you needed, like the Starlight. The 4th thing was the true prince, and they're like, that's Kingsley. That's why we need Kingsley. And they just figure that out. And so they're trying to get him and get this solved, because they want to save the kingdom Brenadon. And Evie is walking into the kitchen of the castle, and she sees someone is trying to take apart the stained glass window, and that's like her favorite one to sit at and look at because it's gorgeous. It's Otto's son, Calvin. Otto's her old boss. It's his son, Calvin. And she's like, what the fuck? What are you doing here? And they're fighting. They get him tied up. Tristan comes and helps because he can sense her danger, so he goes and helps. And Calvin won't speak, obviously. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. But obviously we know he was hired by Benedict to come and do this, because this has Rhydon's prophecy on it. The full prophecy where they learn more. It's like, that's what he was doing, that asshole. And so yeah, the strange shift is happening. The chef is injured and tied up. Alyssa keeps getting more notes. She got that note to release her father. Everyone's like, where did this note come from? Who gave this to you? And they're like, somebody had to let Calvin in. Who? Who let him in? What is happening here? So there's another traitor. There's something going on here. Tristan and Evie decide to take the window apart themselves safely because they both like this window and put it in the rising sun to see it. And that's when they see the full prophecy. And in this moment, they kiss again. Oh my god. But then the magic starts to wreak havoc, and it's like, fuck. So they stop, and they're trying to like break apart. It's not good. It's not good. Yeah. And so this is what I said. But this is when they learn the fourth item they need is the true heart of the prince saving his fated love. So they're like, we need Kingsley. We need him to become human again so he can save his true love and do that. Like, we'll figure that out later. So, and Tati says she can't fix Kingsley's like frogging zoning episodes. He needs to be reversed or he's going to be a frog forever. And it's like, okay, fuck. And so they meet with a curse consultant and they tell Tristan that he can't find the original enchantress. The guy's like, I don't know where she is. Also, you have a curse upon you from Benedict. And he's like, fuck. Okay, whatever. And so they're just castle getting broken into, all this. They're like, okay. Becky calls her brother Roland to come help with the plants. I love Roland. He's such a nerd. I love him so much. And as they're figuring this out, the staff find the memory plant in Roland's room. The one that her mom tried to use to steal her magic, all that. We're like, Roland's put in the dungeon. And a petal falls off this plant. Starlight shoots from it and like hits a window. And they're like, what the fuck? And Becky's trying to leave. Her and Blade, like, no, she confesses to Blade that she loves him. And then she runs away. It's like, Becky, what the hell? You just told him you love him and then you leave? And then a second petal falls and hits Blade right in the head. And he falls down. He confesses his love too, and then he passes out. And it's like, what is happening? What is happening? It was very stressful. So fun. Keeley and the Malevolent Guard are off to rescue the female Guvra from Benedict, and Gideon's following because he thinks Keeley's the traitor. And he's like, I'm going to follow her and figure this out because he found a bunch of notes in her room or letters from signed the king as her dad. And he's like, no, she's not good. We get her whole story. She says dad, but really she wasn't wanted as a child and she doesn't know who her father is. So it's somebody pretending to be the king, possibly pretending to be her father. She doesn't know. She's like, I was raised by a horrible person. I don't even know if she was from my real mom. So it was rough. So we're like, okay, so she's not the traitor. Tristan and the group, after they consulted with the curse consultant, they run into Lord Fowler. He tricks the group, which is our core four of Tristan, Evie, Tati, and Claire, with Kingsley, obviously, into going to his place for a dinner party, and they'll get the wand they need for the enchantress, because he has everything magical, because he's a person that does that. It's like, okay, cool, dude. And Evie comes up with a game for all the attendees to get Kingsley back, because he kind of hopped away and his frog zoning out, and it's like, Kingsley, we need you. And that whoever gets the frog will get a night with her. The Wicked Woman is her name, because Tristan's the villain, she's the Wicked Woman, which is really funny. And Tristan's like, fuck that. And he goes and gets the frog, and then they're locked in the room for the night, because Fowler's like, you won your prize, here you go, stay here all night and then you'll get the wand. And they're like, fuck, okay. They're kissing, making out, and then she tells him she wants to be with him forever. She wants this forever, but he has to stop saying fate and destiny say otherwise, because of Destiny's whisperings of you're her undoing, she's your downfall, all of that. She's like, you need to stop believing that and follow your own path. And then she goes and lays in bed and goes to sleep. And Tristan's like, fuck. He's asleep on the couch. Claire was trying to figure out the letters that Alyssa was getting, like, who sent these? And she's like, something's with them. So she's trying to figure this out with her magic and her ink. Tati's watching. Kingsley knocks over black ink, which is one ink Claire cannot control. And so the letters are ruined. And so they're like, Kingsley! And then he just looks at them. They're like, sorry, it's okay. He's like, I'm just a frog, man. What do you want from me? It's really sad. And then Claire finds a secret tunnel through like a loose floorboard they stepped on, and it opens and they're following it down. They find the wand and they're like, cool. How do we get out of here? Because it was on a trip like wire, like the walls are caving in. And they escape, and then they find their way to Tristan and Evie's room. And Tristan thinks somebody's breaking in, so he's like, what? And he's like, oh no, okay, it's not. Okay, cool. We're back with Gideon and Keeley. They're at the tunnel entrance, faking as valiant guards to get to the Gouvra. They have to wait because the Gouvra's drugged, and it's way too heavy for them to carry, like way too heavy. Back with Tristan's group, this bounces around a lot with different point of view, so you're kind of having to remember what each group is doing. Where it tells them, you have the wand, but you're also going to need glass slippers with the wand to get it to work. They're like, okay, where are they? He's like, with Amara, who is Tristan's mom, who he's estranged from for the last decade. And it's like, gosh dang. We have to go to Tristan's mom. He's like, I don't want to. Can't blame him. So they leave, and then they're passing through the village next to Fowler's estate, and the purple phoenix that lives there that the townsfolk worship and the phoenix worships them back has kind of turned, because again the magic is turning and changing things right now because the prophecy is not being fulfilled, and so it's attacking the villagers, and it's like, oh shit. So Evie's like, we gotta save them. Tristan's like, no we don't. Evie's like, yes we do. And so she goes and saves them. And how does she save them? She hugs the phoenix. She literally just hugs the phoenix. And she's like, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to have feelings, but we don't attack. And then she's like, maybe leave for a little bit and then come back. And Tristan's like, that fucking worked? And Evie's like, yeah, what do you expect? It needed a hug. So Phoenix flies away. They get going. They're like, cool, we need to get to the benevolent village where Tristan's mom and dad live. And how do they get there? They need to get through the waterways. It's the best way to get there because his mom has spies everywhere. And so they get a ride from Jellyfish Jones. Who is that? That's Tatiana's dad. He is a fisherman, and his boat and everything is pink because it is Tati's favorite color. So he's like, it makes me think of her when I'm out on sea, so I don't miss her as much. And I'm just like, oh, that's so cute. But why do I have a pink ship I have to work on, sir? Oh my gosh. So they're on the ship, they're heading out. Oh, it's Evie's birthday. And Tristan's like, what? You didn't tell me. So as they're trying to talk and get this thing figured out, they're attacked by pirates. They fight them off, and then Tristan bakes her. I don't know if he bakes her a cake, but he has the chef bake her a cake, and then they have some music, and then he dances with her, and I'm just like, that's so cute. It's just adorable. The next morning on the docks is Arthur Maverick and their dad waiting for them to take them to the house. Becky, back at the manor, is waiting for Blade to wake up. She wants him healed. She pulls Roland out of the cell and is like, yo, tell me what was happening. He's like, I was trying to give this back to Evie, but I saw her mom was here, so I was like, cool, I won't do that. He's like, and then I couldn't tell you. And she's like, I believe you because I saw the note. And so she's like, heal him. And then we find out Fluffy is not being himself. Fluffy is causing more mayhem, and they don't know what is going on. Becky uses the calm crystal, basically the cell phone, to call up Tristan in the group and gives them a huge update on what's happening. They give her an update on what's happening. And this is where we learn that Tristan never gave the order to go get the female Gouvra. That Keeley says she's following orders, but Tristan never gave that order at all. Shit. What is happening? So yeah, I said Arthur's on the docks, meets them. They go up to the house. We meet Winifred, or Winnie, quiet servant at Amara's estate. We learn she is the Enchantress's daughter. The Enchantress that cursed Kingsley, this is her daughter. And it's like, cool. We bring her with us because the Enchantress is with Alexander's parents in the Southern Kingdom, and they plan on executing her for killing their son. They don't know he's a frog. No one really knows he's a frog. So sad. Becky is trying to investigate the notes / Evie's journal from Lyssa. She's also like, this writing looks so familiar. What is happening? So she's investigating that. The male Gouvra escapes because remember the female is off with Benedict. That they're gonna rescue that. The male Gouvra is still there, and Lyssa comes out to try to stop it, and she has a light come from her, and it calms the male Gouvra. And he motions kind of for Alyssa and Becky to climb on top of him, and they do. And he takes off. And it's like, okay. Not cool. Not cool. But the whole thing, Alyssa has a light coming off of her. Like her mom, like the starlight. Like, what? I have so many questions. Anyway, we'll get back to that. As they're flying this guy, the Guvra, they're like, Becky's like, stop, please, like, just let us out. And the Guvra looks back at them and then flips upside down, flips them off. They land on something scaly. Fluffy. The Guvra looked to see that Blade and Fluffy was behind him, underneath him, and flipped them off. Blade was healed by the light that Lissa cast. He's like, there's a light, and I was healed. So Lissa has the starlight healing light. I don't know. Does she? I don't know. I have questions. They land. Lissa finds the Guvra nest with 2 eggs that Becky says aren't viable because they've been here a decade without their mom. So they're just not going to have babies. So it's like, okay, the Guvra needs to lay a different egg. So they're just waiting to figure that stuff out. Gideon and Keely get the female Guvra to escape the tunnels. They kill off some guards. They kiss. Okay, one of that. And then they realize that who gave the order to get the Guvra was Marv, the second in command. It wasn't Tristan. It was Marv. Gideon's like, I recognize this handwriting from the note Lissa showed me, like, before they left. And it's like, okay, cool. What does Marv have to do with this? Why is he a traitor? What is happening? So, at Tristan's mom's house, she's pushing his buttons, like, so much. Like, just he's like, I can't take it anymore. Basically saying he has no feelings, all of this stuff. He confesses he is in love with Evie. He has been. Evie's like, wait, what? Because, like, they're back and forth. They're will they, won't they? Some of the stuff, she's like, I don't know if I can believe him, which I get. And so he can't look at Evie, and he leaves. And it's raining outside. So she follows him in the rain, sticks his dagger to his throat, and is like, where do you think you're going? And so they have a little talk, kind of, because they're going to the barn, which I guess is where Tristan's room is, because there's a room inside the barn just off to the side that they go into. So I'm guessing that's where Tristan lived. Getting to the end of this book, that makes sense. But they're kissing, making out. He's saying he wants this. They're like only in the rain. Guys, they have sex. They have sex for the first time. It's not descriptive, obviously. But they have sex. Thank God.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Because I saw all these like leaks online where people were asking the author, "Oh, are they going to kiss more in Adversary?" And she's like, "They will be kissing more in Adversary." And so it has led me to believe that for 3 goddamn fucking books, there's no freaking sexy time. And I'm so glad to hear that
there's one
is.
in this.
I'm so glad to hear
there's a lot
that
of
there is.
kissing. Yeah. I know. I was like, are they going to stop if they're going to get interrupted? I was like so afraid they're going to get interrupted.
Yep.
And then they got naked. They were doing stuff. And I was like, we're not going to get interrupted.
I'm screaming. Now I have to get to book 3 just
Their bodies joined together is how it was described. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I love it.
I'm dead.
And so the next day they're in the wagon heading to the southern estate and they're holding hands and everyone's like, what is with that? And they're like, nothing. Leave it alone. Tristan also has a fucking hickey on his neck. Because Evie bit his neck. And he's wearing it proudly too. But they're not saying shit. It's really funny. And Evie told him she's not going to give up on him. Like, she's like, I'm going to keep, making sure, getting you through your self-doubts and all. She's like, I'm not going to give up on you ever. So Arthur, they finish getting to the Southern Kingdom. Winnie uses the wand and slippers and gets them through the barrier to get to the kingdom, or to the castle. They get through, they're entering a secret tunnel entrance, and they think Kingsley is leading them to the dungeon. He doesn't. He leads them to the throne room where his parents are. Fuck. Gideon and Keely get back to Massacre Manor, and the thorns are hacked away. Benedict's flag is waving from the top tower, and Keely rushes in, fighting off valiant guards, all of this stuff. And Gideon comes in and he sees the heads of a lot of workers from the office with the word traitor on all of their head. And it's just so sad because Gideon's like, these were a lot of good workers. It's like, they were. But you guys are also bad, but also not, but also sad. So we lost a lot of good coworkers. R.I.P. my dudes. They kill all the guys. Gideon rushes to find his mom. And he's like, she's here somewhere. And she accidentally, I don't know, knocks him out. He wakes up tied to a chair because he like bursts in the room after, a whole attack. So I get why she knocks him out, like hits him over the head, but I don't know if like she did it on purpose or she was like, oh shit, somebody came in. I don't know. I'm still figuring that out. He wakes up tied to a chair, and Griffin, his father, strolls in. And he's like about to hit Gideon, and he's like, no, I'm just gonna take the rest of your mom's magic. Because he's an asshole. The rest of her power with the plant. The group in the Southern Kingdom try to tell the king and queen that their son is actually the frog. They're like, and then Ivy's like, get him a chalkboard. I need a sign. Show him that you're their son, right? He's in a froggy out moment. He doesn't write anything. He can't write anything. It's so sad. And they're like, no, this isn't cool. Fluffy, Blade, Becky, and Lissa come crashing through and they rescue them. As Evie is talking to Lissa, a sword is thrown at her from one of the other guards. They're called the lily pad guards, I believe, because they have like lily pads on their crests. A sword is thrown at her to try to kill her because she's a wicked woman. And Arthur steps in front of it and takes the sword to the gut. And he's lying there dying because it had poison on it. And Totsi cannot heal him. And he tells Tristan he's sorry he wasn't there for him growing up. He's sorry he wasn't, around a lot.
No, Arthur.
But wait, he wishes he could have told him the truth. That Tristan's mom, Amara, was pregnant when they married. Arthur isn't his father.
Oh my god, he ate the poppy. Oh my god.
He
Shut
ate the poppy.
up.
He ate the poppy. That ends that. They escape on Fluffy. Gideon clutches Nora to him because she's kind of like a living husk, is what he calls her. She's barely breathing. Keely finds him and says, we need to go. Marv is being held by the guards in a hole in the ground. And they're like, okay, we gotta go investigate this fucker. But Gideon's feeling guilty. He's like, I did this. Everything's my fault. And Keely's like, snap the fuck out of it. It's Benedict's fault. Let's go. They get to Marv and he said he didn't have a choice. He didn't do it to hurt the villain because that magical ring tattoo that everybody has is if you have intention to harm or kill the villain, I believe, you will die. But he's alive. He's saying he didn't have a choice. He didn't have a choice. But he tells them the danger is yet to come. There's more coming. And he says it's really bad. That's all we know. I don't know what else is happening. I don't know if there's more. So everyone else arrives back at the manor. Again, it's in disarray. And Winnie tries to change Kingsley back. But it doesn't work. And he's hopping away. He hops right into Benedict that is in Tristan's office. He picks up Kingsley and tells the group he's here to right a wrong. And I was like, what? And then he lets Kingsley go. And they're like, no, that's the fourth piece you needed. That is the true prince. You need the heart of the true prince. And he's like, no. And then he brings out a memory plant. And Tristan all of a sudden is like doubled over in pain. They're like, what is happening? We learn Tristan is the true prince of the prophecy. And Evie had dark magic that her father had Benedict take out when she was young. Because she was supposed to be the villain.
What?
Benedict was trying to kill two birds with one stone.
Fuck. Shut up.
He was... So he gave Tristan the dark magic. He was trying to make the true prince and the villain the same person. But it didn't work. That's why the magic's wreaking havoc. Because it's Evie's magic that Tristan has. But it's Evie's. And it knows it's hers.
What?
Benedict makes his escape. I forgot everything that happened there. And Evie tells Tristan they need to keep their distance. And he's like, no, I'm going to be you. No, we're not keeping our distance. She's like, I'm going to destroy you. I ruined your life. It's all my fault. He stops her, says the reason her magic was crazy isn't because of the curse, but because they kissed. And that he broke her sleeping death curse because they kissed. That they are the true love that the prophecy speaks of. Why he was able to wake her and her him. Because remember, there was so in the second one, there was an antidote that Becky was supposed to give her to help wake her after like a slow amount. Becky wasn't able to give it to her. And she's like, I don't know how the fuck you're awake. And everyone's like, I don't know. And I'm like, it's true love's kiss. Obviously, I know what's true love's kiss. So it's true. So they are the true love because he's the true prince.
Obviously, it's true love's kiss. Duh.
True love. Tristan says that they will break the curse together, and he kisses her. So cute. Epilogue. Claire is outside at the forest crying. Her dad's dead. Kingsley is gone. She's just very upset, you know, like just very heartbroken. She's like, everything's my fault. Kingsley wouldn't be your frog if it wasn't my fault, you know, all of the stuff. Because we found out that, you know, the mom hired the Enchantress to kill Tristan. Claire like doubled the offer and was like, what if you just fake his death? The Enchantress is like, okay, just make it look like Tristan died, but it got Kingsley. So that's why she's like, it's my fault. Everything's my fault. I did this. So she's crying, down on her knees, just sobbing. Bare feet walk into her line of sight. She's offered a handkerchief. She sees a naked man. She's in shock. The man tries to speak, but he can't. He hands her a note. Kingsley? He's human. Kingsley's human. That's how it ends. That's it.
Hello? Kingsley's a human? Are you joking me?
He's
What
a
the
human.
hell?
Nope. The reason the handkerchief, I was like, are you sure this is Kingsley? Because when right before Winnie was gonna try to turn him back when they were at the manor just a little bit ago, she used a handkerchief and like rubbed it on his head because he was dirty, and she left it on top of his head. And then he hopped away. So it's Kingsley. Kingsley's a human.
Oh shit.
That's how it ends.
Oh my fucking god. You're joking me. The gasp that I gusp. The gasp that I gusped. Stop.
I cried when Arthur died. I was sitting here crying.
Yeah. Oh my god. And I would too, because like he's actually a really likable character. Like I did not hate Arthur as a character. I actually really enjoyed him as a character. So I you know, he was a likable enough character. So yeah, no, I can't believe but it was kind of in the writing from the first book that he was eventually going to sacrifice himself. Like you could tell in the first book that he was like willing to sacrifice himself. So I'm not like fully surprised that he ended up doing that by the third book. I mean, she kind of set us up for that, right? Like we kind of knew early on that that's, you know, what was going to happen, but oh my god. Yeah. Wow, that the plot twist is twisting. I cannot wait for Jill to finish the third book because she's going to be so fucking shook by the twist. I'm gagged. I'm on the floor. I'm on the fucking floor. Wow.
It is so good. I got to it. I was like, what? That's why she's Adversary, because she was supposed to be the villain. And she kind of starts to take over and become herself, I think.
Wow.
I think that's how it goes. I think her power is going to get to her and Tristan, because what that's saying is basically Tristan is Benedict's kid.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh. Yeah, because Benedict said, you know, he was seeing Amara, all this stuff, and then she became pregnant, and he didn't want to have a kid or married, and he told her to get rid of the baby, and he said, well, keep it if I can use it later down the line. She's like, okay, deal.
Oh my god, that is horrible. That everybody in these, like, you think these books are going to be like cutesy, fun time, funny, haha, and then these like deeply concerning and worrying behaviors from the parents and from like the people surrounding them, and like, yeah, it's like actually very emotionally deep, and I was not expecting some of the emotional depth that we were having from these characters. Like I thought this was just like gonna be like a fun good time. Like, hey, actually some of this shit is like low-key traumatizing. Trigger warning. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I love this series so much.
I understand why you love this series so much. Oh my god.
It's so good.
Alrighty.
So good. I cannot wait for Adversary.
Adversary comes out. Natasha's going to put this right here, right when that comes out. August 4th. Okay, you guys, you have been warned. This is the end of our recap for the Assistant to the Villain series. Thank you so much for joining us. We are to be found in several places on the internets. We are, of course, here on YouTube where you're finding us. We are on Spotify. We are on Instagram. We are on TikTok. Go and hit that bell so you get notifications when we post. We post weekly on Tuesdays and sometimes a special surprise on Fridays. And yeah, we hope to see you next time. Bye.
Bye.